Now it's time to turn our attention to this week's honoree. He's using a life-changing incident to change the lives of others for the better. Take a look.
This is New Yorker of the Week.
Stay away from guns. Guns have put us in this position.
Kareem Nelson grew up with family and financial struggles, thinking life wasn't fair. This mentality sent him down a bad track when he sees many young New Yorkers following.
I paid all the consequences from what the streets have to offer. I don't want to see kids go through what I went through. I don't want to see the kids go through what the streets are going to put them through.
When this former drug dealer got shot at 21 years old, he sustained a spinal cord injury that left him bound to a wheelchair.
This will happen, and you will be lucky to be in a wheelchair, because the other alternatives are death or jail. Because I know there's a kid, that's going to be in the same position I'm in if he doesn't know that this is what he could get if he takes this route.
So Kareem is trying to lead young New Yorkers in a positive direction. 2 years ago, he founded Wheelchairs Against Guns. Every week, Kareem and other reformed convicts visit schools in low-income neighborhoods, sharing their stories, hoping students make better choices in the future.
Every single one of y'all can make a difference in the world. We want them to know that when you're growing up, that there's so much more to life, and it's okay to dream to be something different. But you're in school, so you're already halfway there,
Their message hits home.
Kareem comes from an urban environment, just like the students. Many students come from single-family homes, struggle with economics, meeting basic needs like food and rent.
And their eyes are wide open, and their ears are wide open, which ultimately means to me that their hearts are wide open. I know that they are all going home and thinking about what it is they learned today.
And we're here for y'all.
We don't provide nothing, the corners are going to provide. With the crews, with the drugs, with the guns, that's who's going to provide for our kids if we don't find a way to provide for them. Out there is the wrong place.
And so, for pointing teenagers toward the right place, Kareem Nelson is our New Yorker of the Week. And joining us now in the studio is our New Yorker of the Week, Kareem Nelson. Thank you so much for coming in and telling your story.
Thank you for having me.
It's really great to have you here. So let's start from the beginning. What was life like growing up for you? You said that it felt unfair. How so?
Well, it felt unfair pretty much because I was the only child, and I felt that I should have a brother or sister to play with. So I didn't have that, so I felt that it was like unfair. So I went to the streets, and I got that brother and sister love from the streets. But my mother provided everything for me. She's a good mother, a very good mother. She did everything, so I didn't have to go that way.
But you did. You were lured by the streets, in your words, and there you were one night. And to the extent that you're comfortable, just talk a little bit about the injuries you sustained and the struggles that you went through, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally to overcome what happened to you.
Well, I'm a C7 quadriplegic, and it was very hard when I first got injured, to accept it and, to be able to accept life in this wheelchair. So, my mother and my doctors were very influential in that, and they helped me stay strong. And the injury has just changed my life completely. Everything is different. Down to tying my shoes, down to getting dressed in the morning. Everything in my life is different.
It's probably easier just to get angry about what happened. That's the easy thing to do. But yet you're here and you're turning kids to the positive. How did you do that personally? How did you overcome your initial feelings of distress and anger and turn it into a positive?
Well, personally, how I came over it, talking with my doctors, not wanting to be selfish anymore, wanting to give back and be productive in society because, I've just been a terror in my community, and I just wanted to change that. And me being in a wheelchair, I looked at it and I seen, how I could change, and I don't want too many kids to be in this position, so we started W.A.G.
Do you find that the kids you talk to today, not all of them, some of them, lack sort of the inspiration that you now have, lack that sort of feeling and sense of community that you had, I guess, when you were growing up too? Is that still the same?
It's very much lacking these days because in our communities there's nothing for them to do. So we started W.A.G. as an inspiration to them to show them that, look, we come from the same communities you come from, and we're doing this now, because we know that it's tough out there for them. So that's a real reason why we started this, because we are them, we know their thoughts, we have the lingo and the know-how to reach back to them, because we know that we know
you see yourself in these kids.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. How do you connect with them?
Just being relatable, down to the way I dress, down to the way I talk, you know, and just, we're from the same place. We're urban, you know, so us being urban, we relate to one another. And then when they see us, they know that it's just they open up because we're relatable. We're very relatable to them.
When that happens, when you open up, when the child opens up, the kid opens up to you, what sort of changes do you notice in the child, first of all, the kid, the teenager who you come in to sit down and they don't care. Immediately they don't care that you're there. And then suddenly it connects, and then they perhaps look to you even after the classroom experience. What changes have you noticed in the kids?
Well, I noticed that when we come in and we first tell our testimonies, and then when it comes down, because in our presentation we have at the end where we like to engage the kids and ask them what's on their mind and give them the chance to ask us, why do we do this and why do we do that? And I noticed that with the kids, like, they'll be shy at first. They won't ask the question. Everybody will be like, shh. And then it'll take one kid to ask the question, and then they all open up. You know, and then they start telling us things that they wouldn't even share with their parents. You know, and we give them that advice on how to prevent being in this wheelchair or being incarcerated or being jailed.
Yeah, and then what's the message? What are you telling these kids? How do you, not just how do you connect, but what do you say to them?
Well, first and foremost, we tell them that their education is going to award them everything in life that they would turn to the streets for. You know, that's first and foremost, your education. You have to keep that in hindsight because that's going to take you everywhere you need to be in life. And second, guns. Nothing comes good out of guns. Out of each one of my members' testimonies, the gun has tore us up. You know, the gun has put us where we at, along with the wrong decision making. So we try to keep telling them, if you keep your education ahead of you and stay away from the streets and the guns, you have a productive life. You know, you don't have nothing to worry about besides bills and, you know, the common things that you're supposed to worry about.
Paying the rent and getting around the town. How can we help you? Do you need volunteers? What can your fellow New Yorkers do to help this organization grow?
Well, help us by, you know, reaching out to us. You know, we don't have any sponsorship. You know, everything is out of our pockets. If you can help us in any type of way, get us into the schools. You know, if you have any influence in the schools, reach out to Wheelchairs Against Guns, and we're here. Our telephone number is 877-735-9177.
Tell me again, 877?
9173. Oh man, I'm nervous.
That's okay. We're at the end now.
735.
Right?
9177.
Okay, we're going to have that number up on our website as well.
My email address is
The email address, we're going to have it up right now. Kareem Nelson, I want to say thanks to you. The organization is easy to remember, Wheelchairs Against Guns. You're doing great work, and we're going to get that email address up right now. If you've got a question, a comment, if you want to help out, wheelchairsagainstguns@AOL.com, and we'll have that phone number on our website after the program. Also a reminder, if you know someone who would make a good New Yorker of the Week, we want to know about it. You can write to us at New Yorker of the Week, 75 9th Avenue. We're on the 6th floor, New York, 10011. Or email us at nyer@ny1.com. Kareem Nelson, our New Yorker of the Week. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
That's all the time we have for now. I'm John Schumo, and I'll talk with you Monday. Now it's time to turn our attention to this week's honoree. He's using a life-changing incident to change the lives of